It started with a whisper, just a faint, chilling sound on the wind the night Daniel disappeared. He was my neighbor, a quiet guy who mostly kept to himself. One day he was there, tending to his garden. The next, gone. The police found his front door unlocked, a half-eaten meal on the table, but no sign of Daniel. It was as if Ed simply vanished into thin air. Soon after, the stories began. Other neighbors started reporting strange noises coming from Daniel's now empty house late at night. Faint scratching, they said, like rats. But deeper. More rhythmic. Some swore they heard soft, muffled talking, even though the house was dark and sealed. Most people dismissed it as an old house settling or the wind playing tricks. But I knew Daniel. He wasn't the type to just leave. And that whisper I heard, it felt like a warning. The official investigation hit a dead end almost immediately. No forced entry. No signs of a struggle. No leads. They set up surveillance, hoping to catch a squatter or maybe Daniel himself returning. That's when things got truly bizarre. Officers reviewing the camera footage from inside the house noticed something unsettling. Shadows in the corners of rooms seemed to move, not just flicker with the passing headlights outside, but stretch and shrink on their own, independent of any light source. It was subtle at first, easily dismissed as a trick of the eye, but then it happened again and again, more noticeably each time. They also placed audio recorders throughout the house. At first, they picked up nothing but the ambient sounds of an empty home. But as days turned into weeks, a new sound emerged, a low, constant hum that wasn't there before. Technicians couldn't identify the source. Then, faint whispers started to appear on the recordings. At first, it was just one voice, too distorted to understand. But soon, it became a chorus of overlapping whispers. Dozens of them, all murmuring unintelligible phrases. It sounded like a crowd of people speaking in hushed, urgent tones, yet the house remained completely empty. The police were baffled, and frankly, a little spooked. They pulled the official surveillance, labeling the case as a standard missing person. But the whispers, they didn't stop. My unease grew into annoying fear. I lived right next door, separated only by a thin stretch of lawn. I started noticing things in my own home. A door creaking open when no one was there. The lights in the hallway flickering for no reason. At night, I'd lie awake, straining my ears, and I'd hear it. A faint scratching sound, seeming to come from inside my own walls. It was the same sound the neighbors described hearing from Daniel's place. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination, my mind playing tricks on me because of what happened to Daniel. But the feeling of being watched was constant, a heavy pressure on the back of my neck. I'd leave a book on the coffee table, turn around for a second, and when I looked back, it would be shifted, just an inch or two, but enough to know I wasn't alone. A detective, a guy named Miller who couldn't let the case go, kept digging unofficially. He went back to Daniel's house with a thermal imaging camera. What he found made his blood run cold. The walls, particularly in the hallway and living room, showed strange heat patterns. They looked like faint, elongated outlines of human figures pressed against the plaster from the inside. They were cool, almost cold spots, but they held a distinct, unsettling shape. As he scanned the living room, he found something else. On the floor, near the center of the room, was a faint, charred mark, almost like a scorch from a lightning strike, but contained to a small, perfect circle. It hadn't been there during the initial investigation. Was this it? Was this the spot where Daniel vanished? It felt less like he had walked out, and more like he had been absorbed. My own investigation, if you can call it that, was mostly me obsessively rereading news articles and scrolling through local forums. That's when I got the text. It was from an unknown number. Just a single terrifying message. Stop looking, or you'll hear us too. My heart stopped. Well, Sentis, how did they get my number? It wasn't a prank. It felt like a direct threat from whatever took Daniel. It meant they knew I was getting close, that I hadn't dismissed the whispers like everyone else. The danger was no longer just next door. It was in my pocket, on my phone. They were watching me. I should have stopped. Any sane person would have packed a bag and left town, but I couldn't. I had to know what happened. I managed to get my hands on one of the original audio files from the police investigation, a snippet they had labeled unintelligibly. I spent hours cleaning it up, filtering out the background noise, trying to isolate just one of the voices. Last night, I finally did it. I amplified a section, slowed it down, and a clear phrase emerged from the garbled static. It's a whisper, and it's not for Daniel. I think it's for me. I want you to listen. Listen closely. Come closer. It's waiting for you.